Hi there, welcome to another GridCard tutorial. This is Ace. I'm a player here on the GridCard and have been really enjoying getting to compete with all of you every week. What I wanted to do was walk through my process that I go through every day just to make sure that I'm staying up on the GridCard and enjoying it to its full effect. And then I'm going to go through and just kind of walk through all of the features here on this week page. There's an awful lot packed in here, and I want to make sure that you're all understanding what's here and how to use it all. So first, let's just talk about how I go about using this page specifically. So Thursday through Saturday, that's the time you can hop in to make your picks now. That's when this little section will pop up. This is how you make your picks for the following week. If you want to learn more about that, there is under Help a Make Your GridCard Picks tutorial that'll walk you through everything that happens here. I want to focus on just this section specifically and discuss what you should be doing when you pop into the site every single day just to see what's going on. So the first thing to pay attention to is what to watch. So right here I take a look, I hop in and see what picks do I have for this day that I want to root for. And you can see just by checking out the breakdown here, at 2 o'clock Eastern time there's an MLB game, Diamondbacks and Cubs. The line's even, no one's getting any extra runs here. I've put 5 points on the Diamondbacks, so that's reasonably important to me. I can see some of these top picks, Danger Zone, Johnny Rand, have opposing picks for 9 points. Jeeper Creepers in there for the Diamondbacks as well. And so just kind of give a glance at that so that I know when I'm following along on ESPN, or if I'm going to go watch a game tonight, I might think to myself, yeah, I'll go watch the Twins and the Red Sox this evening because I've got 6 points on it, even though I don't really care about either team. But that's what's great about the GridCard. You can get a point on a Brewers-Giants game, and you might be very interested in watching that game so you can see if you can win something. So that's step one. That's the first thing that I look at when I hop in here. The second thing I look at is the leaderboard. How am I doing so far? And to be honest, this week, for this game specifically, I am not doing well. In fact, my name's already crossed out there. Because I'm crossed out, that means that my potential points are lower than the leader's 1 points already. So Jody Ann has already got 27 points. I can only get 24. I definitely cannot win. Everybody else who's left here in white has a chance. We're not breaking down just yet into how each individual pick would work compared to, say, Jody Ann's or Jeeper Creepers picks. So it's a little bit of that research is still left up to you. But what I can do though is just sort of see, if I'm even in the game. So let's say Jeeper Creepers thinking, I've got a pretty good shot at this still. If I win out, I've got it for sure. Jeeper Creeper has the highest number of potential points, where someone like, say, Hoff, M133, needs a little bit of help somewhere along the way for this person to come back and get the win. So that's the second piece I kind of check just to see what's going on. Additionally, if you want to go through, all of the matchups are here, so you can see, and I go through here often as well because I want to see what happened maybe late the previous night. I'll hop in and just sort of see where we're at. So you can quickly see the team that won is in green. You can see some top picks that hit that. In this case, I made my 9-point pick. That's pretty exciting because I chose the over for the Cubs and Cardinals, and we got there just barely. And you can go through and kind of catch up on all of those things. Now let's take a look at 2 other things that might be useful. And I'll usually check this from the what to watch. If I'm looking at, say, the Twins and Red Sox, 6 points, that's great. We've got some overs and unders at 9 points. If I hit the info button, it's going to pop up and tell me just some notes and things about the game itself. You can see this when you're making your picks, so that stuff hasn't really changed. Then we also have something called the GCI. This is the Grid Card Index. And this is a measure of how strongly the players in the game feel about one way or another. So in this case, we've got 1.03 towards the over in this case. And the way to kind of interpret that is, if I have 1 point or less on the over, or if I have no interest, or if I have points on the under, I probably want the under to win. So I've got 6 points on the over. In this case, I definitely want the over to win. That helps me more than the under winning. And you can also just kind of hit this picks button to sort of get a feel for how that works out. We can see that the over's a little more heavily loaded on this side, so that makes sense. All of these do not picks kind of count as zeros though, so they're the folks who aren't interested. And a lot of times, if you haven't picked a game, you check the GCI. That'll help you kind of get an idea of which way you should be rooting for that game that you don't have any specific interest in. So that's how I go about just kind of checking it for the day. Typically I do this on my phone, and let me show you what that looks like. So this is what it would look like on your phone. Basically all the same stuff, but in this case it's just a little bit more compact, and you'll be doing a bit of scrolling, but everything that you wanted to see is here. What to watch, the matchups, and if you scroll through the matchups to the bottom, that leaderboard's there as well. Okay, so that should get you started on specifically what to do on a daily basis. Hop back into the game, check what to watch, see how you did the previous day by looking through the matchups, and check out the leaderboard to see how you're sitting for the week and who you should be rooting for or against. Now, there are plenty of other items here on the page to show you, so let's go through just some tips or tricks for getting really the most out of the weekly view. So there's something that's a little bit hidden, and if you don't know to look for it, you might not see it. But in a lot of different places, we've got this little arrow, and whenever you see that, that means you can click on this item. And in this case, what it allows you to do is go back and check any of the previous weeks that have taken place so far. There's been a bunch of them, but if you want to, you can just hop back to the Belmont week to see how someone did. And when you get there, you can also start to see who did well that week, the different achievements that they picked up, and you can just sort of get a feel for how the game's been going. Additionally, you do have these forward and back arrows, and these just kind of go through the weeks in a very timelined order. So clicking forward gets you to week 23, from 23 to 24, and so on, all the way up back to the current week, if that's where you want to go. Just clicking on the home page up here will get you right back to the previous week as well, or to the current week, I'm sorry. So back on the current week, let's just sort of see what else we can learn from little drop downs. First off, we can see the first game and the week. So sometimes you might be out of game 2, the second game, but you might still be in for the overall week. So let's take a look here. I am not. I did horrible in the first game, and I'm bringing up the rear. So that's a great grid card week for me. But we can see we've got 5 people still in the running for that top spot for the week, and it's a pretty close race here between Jeeper Creeper and AFED. So that'll be interesting to see how that turns out. You can also go back to the first game, see that we had a very rare 4-way tie at the top. That's also pretty interesting. So be sure to check through those drop downs. Additionally, for matchups, you can flip between the first game and the second game to see the different matchups that have happened, and if you want to dig in to see previous things, you can do that as well. Also, don't forget about this week's news. The commissioner is doing a great job. For every week, you're going to get a preview You're going to get a full view that shows you all of the matchups in one easy to read page. And then you also get wrap-ups of the first game and the second game. So feel free to click into those, get some great insight. Additionally, whenever we do an update to the site, or at least as often as we can, with new features or new things that you need to know about, you'll see those under recent GridCard news. Click into that, have a read, share it on the interwebs, whatever you want to do. And if you've not yet liked or followed us on Facebook and Twitter, we'd really appreciate that. The more people we can get playing this, and the more of your friends that you can get in here playing, I think the more enjoyable it will be for everyone. So please feel free to do that. And you know, there's a few ads on the page. The ads do fund the development of this site, so feel free, if you find something that looks interesting to you, don't be afraid to give it a click. We'd certainly appreciate that. Now, a couple of more items to see here that have to do with this week, and it's a little bit hidden up here at the top, and that is this filtered view. So it's one thing to see all of the players that are playing. We got two other views for you that you can see as well. One is the Pro Grid Tour. So these are the guys who've been playing the grid card for a lot of years offline. We've recently brought it online here so that everyone can join in. These folks are playing for money. They've got some additional rules that will be eventually pulling into the entire grid card here, but you can see how you can stack up, how you stack up against these folks who call themselves professional pro grid players. And it's a fun way to see that. Now, as soon as you switch to this view, we also get one other look. So if you go to matchups, you can see this grid view. This is a next level way to sort of see where you stand and who you need to root for. It's likely a totally separate blog on how to read and understand this better. But basically, it's going to be you plus all of the other Pro Grid Tour players. And what you're seeing is your picks lined up against their picks. And it's also showing which one you've picked. The over-under is a little bit harder to see. Unders are always on the right, overs are on the left. Let's see if we can find something that I'm rooting for here. So I am rooting for Arizona. That's the left team in this condensed view. We can see this guy is going for the Cubs, so it's on the right. You can see the number of points, and if you're kind of in contention to win, you could check yourself against both of these, and it'll give you a pretty quick view of, you know, what people are rooting for and how you should root against that as well. And finally, one last piece we'll touch on very quickly. There will be definitely a tutorial about this. This is the My Pro Grid Tour. So if you've got some friends in here that you want to keep track of, this is the place to go. Once you've clicked over to it, you'll see the leaderboard and everything else is filtered by just the people that you've chosen. There's an add or remove friends section here, and this is where you can search for by username or email, add these people, they pop in, and they add into your list of people that you want to see. So that way you can ignore the public at large and just try to play against your friends specifically. Anyway, that's the GridCard week. Come on back every single day, give a check to see who's playing and what you're rooting for, and I promise it'll make every game that you watch or that you follow that much more interesting. Good luck out there, and we'll see you on the grid.